Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have an awful rack. I think I will almost certainly be changing. Very hard to see a good rack leave after making a play here. I do have a few available words. I've got triple EW, and I would have tor E or wait through a T, but both of those leave 3 vowels. So how much can I score for triple EW? Not very much. It goes underneath boy at the end. 16 points, leaving I. Actually, I think that's worth doing. Yeah, can I score any more? Is there a better play? What about through? Well, what about IE? That's 4 fewer points, but I think it's a better rack leave. The W is normally a bad tile. However, it does go well with vowels, and this should guarantee me a score next go. Okay, that's not too bad. I've got way and away. So a fairly synergetic rack. I can't see any 7-letter bingos here, or 8s. Good score for my opponent. He's 50 points in front. Zig only takes an S after it. IE takes nothing. Zo takes an E after it. Change that to an A. So do I have something AE? Well, I have HAE. 25 points. Pretty horrendous rack leave. Can I do better? Zo takes an A in front. That's not particularly useful. Now, what about my way and away plays? Well, away plays here. This certainly sorts the rack leave out. The score is good. I'm opening up row O, but I think this is the right thing to do. Or rather the best combination of score, rack leave and board position. Not great. F and V go badly together, but it's a fairly tractable rack. I should be able to play off a V with an N. I probably can't play off the F and the V, which is why they're such poor tiles to have together on your rack, both being non-bingo-y. Now I've got IN for an ING ending word. Nothing springs to mind. Still all the blanks and S's to come. Column 12 quite hot. Probably worth playing there with an S, or could be worth playing there with an S even without a bingo. So I haven't seen anywhere for my V yet. Well, nowhere great. I've got van, by and un. But that's sort of shutting down the board, and I'm behind, so I'm a little reluctant to do that. I've also got van and een. Now I've got Vienna on my rack, which would play at I1. Okay, only 36 points for my opponent. Now, Vienna does play in row N, plays off 6 tiles, keeps the F for score. Not dangerous because nothing goes under the V. 26 points, pretty good. And AB is an opening for my F, and it's opening the board in particular with the I, E and N. So I do like this. Can I do something better? Now, what about placing my F next to this E? So I could play Nef, keeping Vine. for 30 points. That's better. Vine is a better rack leave than a bare F. Except it's not Vine, it's Viner. But it's still 30 points, and I think Viner is better than F. It's certainly not 4 points worse. I could have a very unbalanced rack with F. I'm not going to have a very unbalanced rack with Viner. Yeah, and I'm not so far behind that I've got to introduce masses of volatility. Great, I draw an S, so I've got Viners in column 12. Through an O, I would have Invasion. 30 points for Viners, so not a massive score. I don't have anything through the B. Not really any other floaters to consider. Column 11 is available for an ing word. I'm not sure if vining is good. It may be. I can't see a 7 with this rack. Just wondering if there are any 4-letter extensions to Birch. Possibly Birchings. Yeah, I'm fairly sure Birchings is good. But that's not worth fishing for. So do I have anything better than Viners? Quite a dry board on the left-hand side. Available for bingos, but not for high scores with non-bingos. Wow. I wonder if that would have played, if my opponent would have had a bonus if I'd played Vienna, quite possibly, the blank being so flexible. So my Viner spot is still available. I think this is probably a better one across here. 31 points, a better rack leave, the same rack leave. But I'm keeping the S for column 12 and for column 13. Veins not opening anything up on the left-hand side of the board, but it's just a hot spot which I'd rather have than leave for my opponent. Okay, quite a nice rack, close to a bingo. There isn't a 7 here that I can see. So I'll be looking to play off the J and the I. I've got Jib in column 7. Only 14 points. I've got Jab for 20. And unfortunately, I don't have a play which gets that to score twice. Gene is good. Jar is good. I could play Jai, J-A-I. Wow, another bingo for my opponent and another blank. Do any of the floaters help me? Don't think so. What I can do is jig, keeping in a great rack lead. There's a high probability of bingoing after this. 24 points for jig. I'm keeping column 13 available for an S ending bingo. The bad news is that I'm gifting column 1 to my opponent, but the H scores 0 since it's the blank. And I think I'm just going to have to accept that. Okay, so jig for 24. Certainly this rack leave is better than after J-A-I, which scores 12 more points. Yep, I think this is 12 points better than double I-N-R-S, but not much in it. I'm going with this. Okay, I'm fairly sure there's a bingo here, and I think there's a 7. I think Mandeers is good, which plays in column 13. The best line is probably column 5, a double-double. So this rack plus an O randomise without an E. That stays available. So an anagram of Miss Adorn. Rimlands through an L. Mandrills as well. Is there something through the O? Well, not that I can see. So I've got Mandeers, which doesn't even get doubled, which is a bit lame. I don't think Oho takes an S, although it may. Mandeers does not play in column 12. I don't think Mandeers has any anagrams. So 67 points. Not a great pickup, but not a disaster. But it would have been nice to have gotten something a lot better since I am 70 points behind. Still 33 tiles to come. Okay, another bingo for my opponent, 106 points. He is on fire. So I'm now 180 points behind. Both blanks have gone. I am not in good shape. However, the game is not over yet. What's the best I can do? It would be nice to play off the W because it's non-bingo-y and to get a score and to play off one of the O's. No O's to come, so double O, not a disaster in a rack with no other vowels. I'm looking at this square to the left of the eye of Mandeers. I can see Wilt, which is not bad. It scores well, 33 points. It's creating a new line through the T. The double O, not a disaster since all the O's have gone, and O goes well with P. Not a particularly bingo-y leave, but there are no bingo-y leaves with this rack. I'm going with this. Well, look at that. Having kept two O's, I draw only consonants. I draw 3 consonants. So the O's now looking quite handy. Only 8 points for my opponent. I suspect, given the remaining tiles, that he may well be fishing for yet another bingo, which is a bit greedy. So, what to do with my X? Just no great X spots on this board. I'm looking in column 14 to see if I've got a something OX play. Can't see one. I've also got the K, which is a good scoring tile. Cos is good. My P can go in front of HI. 10 minutes on my clock. Just nowhere great. Normally the X is a welcome tile. But I'm struggling to see anything. A play of Pox isn't going to score very much. It's a gift for my opponent for column 15. Rudd only takes a C in front, no C's. A left. Now what I could do is play Pox here. 37 points. Wow, that's more than I was expecting. It gives nothing away. Yeah, I'm going with this. Just the one additional vowel, the E, which I'm grateful to have. 2 vowels, much better than 1. No bingo with this rack. 26 points for my opponent. He's now 150 points ahead. So, how can I score with my K? Well, I could play neck. 30 points, keeping the F back for scoring next go. Not a lot else on offer. Running over the top of Pisada with the K in this position, nothing goes in front of DI. And I can't see a way of putting the O above the S. So, can I do better than 30? 15 tiles to come. 1 S to come. I think this is the right thing to do. An alternative would be to keep row L available because Dovecote takes an S. And in theory I could get 2 bingos, but I think that is so theoretically or mathematically unlikely that it's not worth playing for. Given that I'm 150 points behind, the best I can do now I think is to accept the loss and try and minimise my losing spread. So neck for 30. Just pausing in case there's an obviously better K spot. Kahi not good. No, I'm going with this. I draw the Q. So, yeah, nice bingo by my opponent. He's close to hitting the 500 mark. I've got the Q. 5 tiles to come, including 1 U. That means 3 U's on the board. Boy, Rudd, and Pisada, not available for me. Are there any A's available for cat? No, there aren't. So I think 11 for Chi is the best I can do. Not great. Yeah, I'm going with this. I draw the U. Now, I think I have a bingo. I think I have outfelt, but there are no bingo lanes on this board. 4 tiles in the bag. AI something N takes an R, but all the R's have gone. J something O takes nothing. I've got Tofu in column 12. Look at the remaining tiles, pretty bingo-y. My opponent could still have a bingo. There is actually a bingo lane through the E of Dovecote. And I think that's about it. Unless, well, it would have to be a massive overlap in column 14, very unlikely. Now my T can go after EF, so I've got Tofu at the bottom of column 13. Which stays available. And my opponent's quite a nice play. He's actually stopping me from bingoing in that spot, which is good play on his part, although he's definitely won. He wants to maximise his winning spread. So 2 tiles in the bag. Tofu for 20. I have Telia. Rudd takes an I after it, but O doesn't take an A. 22 for my opponent, taking him over the 500 mark. So, can I go out? Not too many spots to consider. I'm just wondering if Telia has an anagram. I don't think it does. Now, what about the V? Do I have anything which goes in front of Moss? I have E. Can't see anything through the V. Nothing goes after XU. 6 minutes on my clock. Ah, well, I've got Telia down here for 16 points. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does, and the final score, 351 to me, 510 to my opponent, a winning margin of 150 59 points, so well done to my opponent, a very good win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first, and he's got a horrid rack, and he plays boy, which is fine. My rack's awful. I play IE for 12, and I think that's better than way for 24. Even though I'm sacrificing 12 points, 2 vowels and a consonant is a lot better than 4 vowels, so I'm happy with that play. Although I think changing wouldn't have been a disaster. Opponent plays zig. I have away for 28. Now, that looks promising. No bingo, though. Opponent plays birch. Veenie, I6. Running under boy. Very nice, keeping thin. I play neff for the same score, keeping viner. Probably not very much between those rack leaves. Pusada. Just checking to see where else that's playable. G1 and AB. Okay, so Vienna wouldn't have blocked the G spot play. Oh dear. Ooh. Having identified that invasion would be available if a floating O was available, my opponent provides a floating O and then I don't see it. So not my finest hour. What were the scores at this point? 76 points, that would have taken me to within 20 of my opponent. Okay, so that was poor. I play Vane, second best play for 31, dropping 45 points. INS probably worth about 20. So, yeah, that cost me about 20 points, which is pretty bad. But I think what's worse is having identified the floater that would be helpful and then not seeing it when it's played. Opponent plays history. Now, M9. Well, that's the Jai spot. I didn't like the rack leave compared to Jig. So Jig for 24. Opponent's not got a good rack. He plays Oh-Ho. And now I have Mandirs, and that is the only bingo. Now, look at this. Great play by my opponent, 106 points. And I play Wilt for 33. The opponent's got a nice rack. So this is when he played Rudd. Yeah, keeping ADERS, which goes well with the T. So he was fishing for a bingo. I have Pox at C2. No bingo for my opponent. He plays Dam for a good score. Folk L13. Making F as well. Very nice, and a nice rack leave instead. I play Neck, keeping Flot for about the same score, and ENT. Well, is it a better rack leave? There's only one bingo lane on this board. But without that bingo lane, the F is probably going to score more than ENT. And there goes the T. Now, my rack. And I jettisoned the Q. I didn't want to be stuck with it. Or not a nice rack for my opponent. He plays L. Now, I play Tofu. Okay, I think I probably overlooked the F hook to EF. Not great. Anyway, it didn't affect the result of the game. Opponent plays Ed. And finally, Telia is the only outplay. So, a pretty thorough beating. Invasion played a small part in that. It's pretty much irrelevant as to whether that's affected the result or not, because you simply don't know. The point is it was suboptimal, and really that's what you're trying to achieve by analysing the game, is to identify suboptimal plays in the hope that you make fewer of them in future. So Invasion was a bad miss, and also not spotting the F hook to EF was also minorly suboptimal. But apart from that, I think the game went fairly well. And on this occasion, my opponent had a good run of bingos and was able to establish a good lead, which he was never in any danger of losing. So well done once again to my opponent. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.